dominate your lane in order to do split push properly. You want to the whole foundation of you're able to split push is that doesn't matter who comes to my lane, I'm gonna dominate my lane. So I have the priority in this lane over any of the individual person that you can have. So you have to send, if you want to catch me, you have to send more than one person to catch me. And then, because if I'm losing my lane, there's no way for me to split push. And more other persons split pushing, and I have to just defend the wave, you know. And maybe when the person's gone, I'm split pushing. But then the opposing laner is already getting dragon, getting out of towers, and coming back to defend. So the split pushing is building a foundation. You have to be able to win your lane. But last game, the Fiora wasn't winning. You know, he was actually doing just okay in his lane. So that's also another problem. And
it seems like one of those situations, like, so actually I want to ask you this really quick. So for instance, if Camille and Fiora went against each other in League and they both pop their ult, I'm guessing Fiora wins, right?
Camille and Tristana, you said. Oh, Fiora.
No, Camille and Fiora, yeah. I think it's probably dealing with it.
Honestly, it's honestly a skill matchup.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's genuinely a skill matchup. Like, the thing about Camille...
My Discord is crashing. 1 second.
Oh, okay, he's back. The thing about Camille is she scales just as well as Fiora does in the side lane matchup. And the 1v1 of Camille is still incredibly strong, but it's definitely a skill matchup. Like, it's all about, like, trying to prevent your vitals being hit by Fiora, then re-engaging with your hook shot. If Fiora can riposte your hook shot and get the stun on you, then you're in a bit of a tricky situation. So, again, very much a skill matchup. I think a good Fiora should beat a good Camille if everything is timed correctly, but it's very close. And then Camille scales just as well and has teamfight utility, which is why I prefer her over Fiora.
Yeah. Because Camille can just ult you and then you're locked down for a few seconds. You're either forced to team fight or you're locked down, and maybe you can or cannot get away. So anyways, guys, that will conclude our the first two matches. Big congratulations to Leah for taking that win and winning their first group match. And that will conclude our Group B, first round at least, for Week 1. And we're going to go ahead and take a short break and get ready for our next match, which is match 3. Once again, I really have to apologize for the technological issues that we're experiencing, because again, we're doing everything on a little laptop. The last match of the evening is Sea Serpents versus Killer Gaming from the Wild Rift Asia Brawl. So get your popcorn ready. You know, this is a Group D action here, so get your stuff ready. We are going to the last match of tonight. See you guys in a little bit. right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets, welcome back to the 2021 Wild Rift Asia Brawl, brought to you by Trovo.live for all things Wild Rift, events, tournaments, competitive. Go to Trovo.live with a link in the chat. Do not hesitate, do not be shy. Take off your shirt and go. You know, that's what they say. Anyways, we now come to the third match. Sea Serpents versus Killer Gaming. Just look at the team name. You know they're good games. You know they're good teams. You know, the first game, ban pick, is already underway, so I don't want to take too much time. I want to save all the advertising and stuff for after the game. But I'm going to go ahead and send it over to the caster desk by D2 as well as Excondra.
Yeah, we're getting to the final pairing of the group so far. So after this match, we'll have seen every single team so far, so we can have our extremely biased opinions. Excondra. We're starting off with the bans here. We have Killer Gaming banning Lee Sin and Evelyn, and we have Sea Serpent banning Misfortune and Karagas.
Yeah, I think the bans overall are relatively good. I think oh, that's my son just joining in. He could see what he thought of the draft. Yeah, I think the bans overall are relatively good. I also I like the Misfortune bans. I think the Misfortune bans make a lot of sense. You know, I think she's been extremely dominant in the Asia Brawl tournament thus far. So Misfortune getting banned out, I think is you know, perfect for the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. It seems like she's always dominating these games, and it takes a while for people to realize, like, maybe we should ban that person. Yeah, so certainly something to be commended here. As we're getting through this draft, we have the Sea Serpents point of view, starting off with the first pick, Lulu. You know I love to see that. Getting with the Wukong with that delicious synergy, that nice engage potential. And also going for the Alistair as well. So Lulu probably going to be in that mid lane here. Lots of front line. Lots of front line coming up from the Sea Serpents here. Yeah,
so they got the Lulu mid, which is super interesting because it's something that we did see on the first day as well. You know, Lulu just so strong that they believe that her utility and the ability for her to sort of have an impact in the game is just so high that, you know, you put her in the mid lane and she can have that same kind of impact. I'm really keen to see how this plays out. Again, they picked the Malphite into the Camille. It's not the worst matchup in the world. It's not good for Malphite, don't get me wrong, but it's not the worst matchup in the world because as soon as the Camille jumps on you with a hook shot, you just do the ground slam and reduce her attack speed, so it's very difficult for her to trade. I will also say that for the most part, Killer Gaming are quite AD heavy. So like Malphite into AD heavy teams is a field day for him. He scales with armor. He wants to buy armor. So he's going up into, you know, like an Olaf, a Camille, a Jhin. It's quite a lot of AD for him to have to deal with. Plus, Jhin sucks really hard versus tanks. So, like, if you get Malphite into a position where he's got enough armor, then Jin's going to become a bit of a non-factor. And he's gone for the heal barrier lane as well, which is something that I've been playing a lot in solo queue with my duo queue partner. But yeah, this is interesting. The two comps, they're both strong. Olaf is an incredibly strong jungler in general. They've got the Orianna to provide them with that teamfight presence. Jhin has a really big impact in the early games. So Killer Gaming have drafted pretty well, but again, you have a really easy combo to pull off with the Wukong and the Lulu. You know, Wukong, Lulu, Malphite, plenty of hard CC. We just had that discussion, D2, about hard CC being the name of the game in a lot of these Wild Rift factors, where you have loads of it on the Sea Serpents roster.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like we had a kind of an invade attempt here. Nothing really came of it. Never mind. Just kidding. Oh, big knock up here coming out from the side of Sea Serpents. I'm going to go ahead and push them away after Braum goes down immediately. And that is a nice start if you're Sea Serpents and an ill-fated engage or invade, I should say.
They actually had the Malphite on that bottom side. I think they were thinking about a lane swap, but then their hand was forced because the invade came through. So Malphite is going to lose a bit of experience in the top side of the map, but he's not there to win lane. So Malphite just needs to survive. As long as he doesn't get killed 1v1 by Camille, like his job is done in this game. He's there for his ultimate pretty much exclusively. He's never going to split push versus Camille. He's not designed to win lane versus Camille. You know, he's primarily there to be specifically a we are now loading something's loading. think we've moved over to KG's point of view.
Yeah, Sea Serpent, the Golden Feet on the Kaisa from Sea Serpent had a bit of an issue there and had to take care of it. Yeah, like you mentioned, going back over to the Killer Gaming side of things, taking a look at Take's perspective. Unfortunately, I went to look at the blurry stream because my stream is somehow behind. I've refreshed it like 5 times, but okay, we're gonna have to do this.
I'm just about on time with the KG stream, so it's not very interesting right now. I mean, he's just leg sweeping the Malphite in lane. somehow behind on experience, despite Malphite getting to lane quicker. But hey, he's just leg sweeping the Malphite. It's not that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that these are very highly ranked players, obviously they're just freezing the lane, but it just looks like an iron v iron match where like, what does this button do? And there's like randomly pressing it at certain intervals. But gonna see Camille obviously clean up here, but like you mentioned, you don't want to be falling behind as a Camille versus the Malphite, because the Malphite is just going to be able to dominate these team fights if he gets farmed up enough.
I mean, eventually Camille's going to outscale, so eventually there won't be a problem, and she should be able to eventually outscale. But yeah, she's not designed to win lane versus Malphite. It's not her primary directive. Although I say that there is an engage.
Yeah, she does go for the ult there. He does manage to get away. I believe he used a flash in order to do so. And this game just kind of trudges on. we haven't had these games, guys, unfortunately, where not a whole lot of interesting invades, not a whole lot of interesting tactics from either side, not really as far as rotations are concerned, and we just have players going back and forth. As I say that, we have the Wukong going on to this. What do you call this? Like the stone camp, the billion stones that pop up.
We call it the Krugs.
The Krugs.
So yeah, I can tell you all the names for the camps if you like, because they're transferred over from League. There's obviously the Gromp, which is the big toad. There's the wolves. There is the raptors, or the razorbeaks. We used to call them raptors. I think they're called razorbeaks now. The razorbeaks. And then there's
why do they make it hard? Raptors is so much easier.
I know. We used to call them like the chickens. So the razorbeaks just used to be called the chickens because they looked a little bit like weird chickens.
I'll take chickens and raptors over razorbeaks and Gromp or whatever that thing was. In any case, we do finally have some sort of mix up here, as seems like we have Sea Serpents getting ready for potential contest of this Drake, or at least feigning it, as they do rotate over to this top side where the dragon resides, and we're going about our merry way again. No real advantage on either side outside of that first takedown.
Well, you can see both AD carries have picked up the Guardian Angel. It's a bigger spike for the Jhin than it is for the Kai'Sa, but Guardian Angel is just so imperative to these team fights. Like, you can see why it's so important that we have a fight breaking out already. The Infernal has been started up here by C7.
Yeah, getting extremely low, down to 900k health, and there it is, taken by the Wukong, the team that started it all. There is the ult coming out from the Orianna, getting some big damage. There's a wild growth to try to keep him alive. They're able to get out just barely. The Jhin ult pop just to try to get that. They're going to try to be moving forward. Multiple members are extremely low. Surprisingly, the Kai'Sa is the healthiest of the bunch. She even has a GA to her name if she ever does get in trouble, but looks like all members of Sea Serpents are going to be able to get out of that situation with the dragon buff in tow. Wait, hold on. Lagging. Uh-oh. Golden feet. Oh no, this is so sad. No.
Oh no. Oh, are they being respectful? I can't tell.
Oh goodness.
Nope. No,
wait.
No
mercy.
No mercy. He lagged. Unfortunately, he lagged and died. I feel so sorry for him, dude. That was some brutal lag.
Yeah, and they actually lost another member too. Wukong does go down. As we're gonna switch over to Killer Gaming's perspective here. Looks like
he's got red ping right now. I am feeling the pain for Golden Feet. He's having a rough time of it.
Yeah, it wasn't even just the red ping too. He completely lagged out for a solid, 10-15 seconds there, and that's especially when you're right in front of your turret. It's going to be a death almost every single time. Rift Herald spawns. Looks like that's going to be the point of contention coming up soon. Over in the top side, as we take a look at Take's perspective, looks like he's already taken down this turret, so that's a feather in the cap for their side. Kai'Sa is going to match on his side as well. gonna be held, basically cut off here by the Alistair, as 4 members, as you can see on the mini map of Killer Gaming, are on that Rift Herald. They do take it in the end for no real trade in response here from Sea Serpents. Looks like an engage might be coming up here. Braum getting extremely aggressive in the faces, but looks like everyone's going to back off, and we're going to be pacifists now.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad actually for Sea Serpents, because like losing that top turret, losing Kaiser's GA, that's a massive limiting factor in terms of what they can actually do in team fights right now, because GA is such a crucial item for most people, because it just gives you so much team fight presence and so much longevity in some of these more important situations, that actually they kind of have to play safe until that GA comes back up for Cold Feet. I don't know if it's, you know, I think that just losing that kill on the top side, that was a really unfortunately timed disconnect for Cold Feet. And yeah, now they're going to be struggling, I think, for the next few minutes. I think they've got to wait for that GA to come back up. Cold Feet's just got to farm up as much as possible, get the evolution on his Q and his E, and just sort of try and scale up into the late game where you're going to have a lot of power with the Malphite and the Lulu as well. But it's going to be a while before they get there.
Yeah, it seems crazy, but then argument can be made that losing the GA is actually more important than the actual life itself. You may be wondering, well, that's the point of the GA, right? You keep them alive, but it can be so powerful in team fights, especially how you position your champion in the first place. So definitely a double whammy there, losing both that GA and her life in the process. Looks like our next objective on the map is going to be... Oh, no, just kidding. I saw some pings on the Drake, but nothing actually happened, it seems like. As a bit
it's
more...
coming up in 30 seconds. It's coming up in 30 seconds, so it's going to be the next thing that we look to take. Right now, KG definitely in the driving seat. They have the strong early game of the Olaf, the Orianna scaling up nicely. Their team fight right now is significantly better. The one thing that I think is limiting Sea Serpents is their team fight does rely primarily on the strength of the Kaiser. Now, Kaiser's GA is back up for this fight, but they need to group up for it. And obviously you can see that Take on the Camille is making it very difficult for the Malphite to join the fight, just because Malphite, I mean, Malphite is just a huge team fight champion. So, I mean, Take's just making it very difficult for him to actually join.
Yeah, it looks like we have Camille kind of out on her own. Didn't really get anything done. Not really sure if she even stole the buff in that situation, but they do take her down. So kind of a wasted situation there for Killer Gaming, as they just kind of throw away a life. Trying to hang on to this mid tower is Sea Serpent's big engage coming in, trying to hold them up. There's a flash in from the Wukong as he pops his ult, has the wild growth to his name as well, trying to get something happening, but nothing happens in the end. But there's the ult popped here from Jin, and he's able to slay that Alistair. He goes down in a bit of a sloppy situation from both sides, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think what really was the case there is that Take did exactly what he should be doing, and that, you know, the Camille is there to create side lane pressure versus the Malphite. That's exactly what Take did. They got a free dragon because of it. I mean, there was nothing that Sea Serpents could do. Like they basically made the decision to take out Take. They didn't think they can contest for the dragon without the Malphite, because Take was kind of keeping the Malphite stuck in lane. I mean, Take's doing a great job showing the power of what a single split pusher can do, especially the likes of Camille with the mobility that she has. Bought so much time for that dragon to be taken with relative ease there by KG, and then obviously the team fight that broke out following without the wombo combo of the Malphite, the Lulu, and the Wukong together. I mean, Wukong was a little bit disjointed, it's separated from the fight. You just saw that, unfortunately, Sea Serpent's not strong enough to take out the full 5v5 right now.
Yeah, I'm actually needing some clarification here as I was going back and forth. Maybe I'm a little bit blind. So when the Camille was taken down, is that when they took the dragon, and then they
they took the dragon as they took the dragon as the Camille was being chased across the map.
Okay, so I was blaming the Camille, but she was actually, it was 300 IQ tactics there as they were able to take the dragon in the situation. So very well done, like you mentioned here from Killer Gaming. Camille doing her job, and the dragon taken down. Looks like there's a lot of pressure being put on here by Killer Gaming, trying to gain vision so that they can more easily take that Baron. We have a ward from Sea Serpents on it, so we know that it's not taken yet, but it certainly could be something to keep in mind going forward.
Notice where Camille is on the map, by the way. If you look at where she is on the minimap right now, she'll always appear in the lane that is furthest away from the next objective that wants to be considered. So right now, the Baron is clearly the next objective that's being at least threatened, or visions being put around. She will continue to put side lane pressure on the lane that is the furthest away from that. It's classic split push tactics. It's really simple. Basically, I create minion wave pressure in the one area that is the furthest away from the objective. Either you come and deal with it, or I take your towers. And that's basically what Camille's doing in this scenario. She's basically saying, okay, I don't care. I'm not going to join the team fight most of the time. I'm literally just going to go to the side lane. And if they want to group up around Baron, if Malphite wants to join the fight, and Malphite is he's an integral part of the team fight for Sea Serpents, if he wants to go and join the fight, I'm going to threaten an inhibitor turret. And I trust my team with a Jhin and Orianna. And this is why I think the Jhin picks like 3,000 IQ. Like, they can just pop their ultimates and like delay the fight around the Baron. Like if KG decide to do Baron, Jhin just opens his ultimate on the Baron pit, and there you go.
Yeah, and we have a huge team fight over on this Baron side lane at the moment. Already one member going down here for Sea Serpent, and more to come as all members are congregating around this area waiting for this GA to pop so they can take out Kai'Sa. They're next looking for the Malphite and still pushing on, potentially taking out Wukong as well. And oh, no, that was just a clone. Very, very nicely done by the Wukong to get away in the end there. But the damage has been dealt. 3 members down. Another turret falls. And now we have Killer Gaming with their foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, and they could probably just go straight for Baron here. They have a man advantage enough to do so. They might be threatened by a steal, but realistically, Baron should be on the cards. Wukong will come through, and I think actually Camille got the red buff here, but she's providing enough of a distraction right now that the Baron is being taken. Wukong is the only one that can really steal this. He flashes over. She's going to get away with her GA as well. That's absolutely disgusting. Hake just... Honestly, he's won one-on-one, but his impact on this game has been immeasurable. There hasn't been many fights in general. We're 6-2. Like, that's a really low kill game, but KG have just played the map. And one could say that the disconnect with the Kai'Sa really was the snowballing factor here. I think it's difficult to say if that's 100% the case, but definitely was a bit of an issue. But nonetheless, KG have dominated from that point forwards and have just played the map so well.
Yeah, it just feels like every team today with Camille has just been using her to the fullest of her abilities, just being completely dominant here. You can see her in a lane on your screen trying to just annoy the Malphite here while the rest of the team pushes down mid. I'm taking a look at Kai'Sa's screen, and she's just getting pushed in that mid lane, all members here, and she's just having such a hard time with it. This bottom lane tower is going to be going down as well, and just everything's being pushed in on the side of Sea Serpents, just crumbling the walls behind them.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that makes Camille really strong, even versus the Malphite in the late game, is that her second activation of her first ability gives her true damage, and that true damage scales with her AD. And so, therefore, versus the Malphite, you just hit him over and over again with that second activation of your first ability, and he just takes a huge chunk of health damage that even his resistances won't help him deal with. And honestly, KG with this Baron, they've got everything that they wanted and more. Two inhibitor turrets down, the next dragon on the cards, and D2, you've probably been in these games. When you lose inhibitor turrets, it is so hard to come back from. Like, it is so punishing when you lose an inhibitor turret in Wild Rift because it never respawns. So your lane is constantly being shoved in, and that'll be natural pressure that you have to contend with for the rest of the game. And those super minions are unrelenting. Like, they will just slap your minions over and over again. And you have to just win some sort of miracle team fight from this point onwards, and then win off the back of a single push to be able to be in a position to win this game. And that's how I feel Sea Serpents are right now. They're going to need some kind of miracle team fight, and I don't think their composition allows for it.
Yeah, I was watching over on the Kai'Sa perspective for a moment there, and there was like a timid attempt at a team fight. It didn't go well at all. Well, speaking of team fight, we have another one engaging right now, as there's just a massive grouping of people over in this. I can't even tell what the heck is going on here. The Wild Growth goes on to the Kai'Sa. She's trying to get as much damage as humanly possible here, but she's getting low. She's going to have her GA pop. Already 2 members of her team have died. There's a third. The Alistair is actually extremely low. He's going to be able to get back to base, but it doesn't matter because the game's about to end as Killer Gaming in dominant fashion take game number 1.
Camille wasn't even in that fight, by the way. That was a 4 versus 5. Camille just jumped over the wall and started attacking the Nexus.
Oh boy.
Wow. I feel bad because honestly, Sea Serpents had a very untimely disconnect there. Like, it was not ideal for them. They disconnected in the top lane and they ended up losing that first tower. Yeah. So I'm not going to be too hard on Sea Serpents right now because that was just a very, very poor timing. And unfortunately, what more can I say? Dave probably agrees with me. It just was bad timing in general. Yeah. But Killer Gaming, they were clinical. Killer Gaming were absolutely clinical with the way they played the rest of the game out.
They just won. I think Sea Serpent just won a team fight, and then KG and then it DC'd, right? It basically threw all the advantage, not a team fight, but control over the river. They got a river scuttle. I mean, we can go back to the post game replay. I mean, post play analysis right here. As you can see how it actually went down, but it was such an unfortunate timing for Sea Serpent on a disconnect. But again, guys, sorry for the technological kind of challenges here we're experiencing, but we're playing with the best hands that we have. So
I'm wondering if Sea Serpents were lagging pretty hard that game because their play seemed to just fall off a cliff after a pretty nice start from them. You saw here they're able to get a kill and things are seeming to be okay, at least pretty even. And then it seemed like afterward, Killer Game were just walking all over them. Before we continue, we've been notified that Take's name is actually pronounced Take. His UI wasn't. Yeah, his UI wasn't Japanese. So, Take in Japanese means bamboo. So if you want to call him bamboo, I guess I don't know. So Take.
Yeah, Take's fine, but obviously I just read things as if they're British and or English, and so obviously it's spelled take. So I'm just like take. But yes, Take. Okay,
I actually had the opposite. There was a guy when I first came to Japan. He was an English teacher with me, right? And his name was spelled Hake. And since I'm in Japan, I just assume it's Hake. No, it's Hake. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I had the opposite situation there.
No, dude, it's just Hake.
It's not that complicated. So you saw, look, they have control. KG Take on the bottom lane was not necessarily winning against Malphite initially. Because Malphite actually in lane, his presence was good. But like, obviously, X-Hunter was saying, you can use the skill 1 from Camille to just go through that shield and do true damage. Still, Malphite had an initial advantage. Now he's even zoning lane. So it definitely give Take a lot of problems. But then, I think they double DC'd right after GA. Over here they got control of the river scuttle, and then it's actually called a rift scuttle, but I like to call it river scuttle because it's in the river. And then the teleport come over here. That's an early teleport, by the way. They got a dragon. That's what I remember. Yeah, that's the advantage they had. They got a dragon, and they got I think something got knocked over. Yeah, this
the Olaf
here. Yeah, they all came over. Nobody died from them. They all got away, and the Olaf GA was popped. So overall, they did it pretty well. And then they
had a really good team fight. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a really good team fight. They got the Infernal Dragon. He was going their way, and boom. One. Yeah. It's not only one. It's like 1, 2, 3. They're marksman, jungler, and mid laner. It seems like they all live in the same house, and then Wi-Fi just went down at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's so bad. Yeah, and
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
And you saw they had a pretty good. They were playing pretty well, right? They took the dragon, no one died, and then boom. I mean, the thing is, people like to think that the players are like machines and they can just perform at their level at all times, but that just hurts mentally. That just hurts, and it's hard to just be like, okay, let's regroup, right? I think it's much easier to regroup when you make a mistake of your own accord. Yeah. It's much worse when something happens out of your control and you're just like. You just feel like the world's against you. Yeah,
it feels like not fair, right? But again, this is the best that we have at this point. Obviously, as the game develops, we're gonna have a lot more official tournaments. It's a lot more better community tournaments, especially the spectator mode when it comes out. The tournament will just get to another level. Like you will have a much better watching experience, and then the players are not required to stream. They have to focus on their games, which is a lot better.
Yeah, well, the other thing with spectator mode is that once it comes out, when we see the players just freeze like that, the umpire can just pause the game. Yeah, so something else that we can do.
I mean, I can't wait for this to get fixed, but yeah, I think this game is not too much to analyze. I do think there's a lot of mental pressure put on Sea Serpents this game because of the disconnect. So, but that's just my personal perspective. Anyways,
The one thing I will mention though is that like I don't think that Camille has lost yet today, unless I'm mistaken. It just feels like Camille's won every single game, and this might be, a slightly meta-defining moment here, especially for the rest of the tournament, because just seeing how dominant Camille has been as someone who can split push, but also be, very valuable, or maybe not very valuable, but pretty good in those team fights. So just like a multifaceted Swiss Army knife, basically. So it just looked really good, especially because of her ridiculous mobility around the map.
Yeah, like it's really hard to catch a farm Camille. In fact, you might get killed and then she gets away. Like that's just. Anyways,
I gotcha. Wait a second.
Yeah. Anyways, before we get to the second game between Sea Serpents and Killer Gaming, is Sea Serpents gonna take us to Game 3, or we're gonna see a 2-0 series again tonight? We'll find out in a little bit. Before we get to the break right here, ladies and gentlemen, this tournament is sponsored by Trovo.live. Trovo.live is hosting a variety of tournaments for League of Legends Wild Rift, with bunch of prizes for you to claim watching the stream right now, including 30,000 wildcore giveaway throughout this tournament. Without Trovo's generous support, this tournament simply would not be possible. So if you're watching the stream right now, weekly Sunday matches and grand final for a Wild Rift Asia Brawl will be streamed on Trovo exclusively. So make sure to use the link to head to Trovo right away. And on top of it, Wild Rift Competitive is a central place for all things competitive. They host weekly tournaments, events for community, and basically, if you're looking to scrim, if you're looking for a player, if you're looking for a team, go to Wild Rift Competitive Discord server with the link in description. And on top of it, our talented streamers, our sexy streamers, our social links are in the chat right now. Make sure to follow their Twitter, D2 and XCondro. Follow their Twitter for future announcements for the games that they're going to cast. Last but not least, a quick announcement for all the matches regarding Wild Rift Asia Brawl are now being officially archived in this channel. Make sure you go to the channel playlist and find Wild Rift Asia Brawl. All the previous games, all the previous live streams are going to be stored over there. So with that, guys, I'm going to take a short break, and I will see you guys in a little bit. right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets, welcome back to what might likely be the last match of the night. Or are we gonna have an extra little bit of work, go overtime, go to game 3? Ladies and gentlemen, we shall find out in the next game. This is the game 2 between Sea Serpents and Killer Gaming from Wild Rift Asia Brawl. You are now watching the Wild Rift Asia Brawl group stage, week 1 and day 3. Brought to you by Trovo.live. Trovo.live is hosting a variety of events for Wild Rift. So if you're watching the stream right now, and if you're wondering where the excitement is going to be for Wild Rift, if you want to be on the ground floor, on the foundation of the most hyped, the biggest, most exciting community in the history of League of Legends Wild Rift, don't hesitate. Head to Trovo.live now with a link in the chat. The next game is starting. I'm going to go ahead, and we have the second game bans ready, actually. Let me just confirm that. And I'm going to hand it over to our beautiful caster desk, brought to you by D2 and X Control. Let's go.
All right. So, like you mentioned, Dave, we do have bans out, and I think they are Evelyn, Lee, Oriana, and Bragus. So, Oriana we haven't seen banned all that often. It does leave quite a few champions available here.
Yeah, I think Miss Fortune being prioritized very early on makes sense. Like, she was banned on the previous games, so we know the strength of her. She's seen pretty much 100% presence so far, and they are going to waste no time. C7 are going to waste no time in going for the Miss Fortune early on here. Combining it with a Lulu and Kennen is looking like to be a very spicy team fight situation if they do lock these two particular champions in. I'd like to see that being the case, although Zed also a very strong. Wukong works fine, similar to Kennen, but the Lulu comes through as well. This is looking like a very strong team fight from Sea Serpents already.
Now, before I go, I just want to ask a question. What do y'all think about Tristana? I mean, the hero's available, but why are the teams not picking it?
She's bad. I thought she was going to be good, but she's bad.
Unfortunately.
True. Okay, the
problem with Tristana is that her jump is really clunky, so it's really slow. And it just feels a lot slower than the PC version. And because of the way that the levels scale, her all-in lane isn't as strong as it was on the PC either. And then she has this really big mid-game lull where she just is outperformed by Miss Fortune, by Jin, by Kaiser even. So and then she's just like Jinx and Vayne. Like she's super strong in the late game, but we don't ever really get there in Wild Rift, even in solo queues. So yeah, it's just that's the reason. I actually genuinely thought she was going to be really good as well, but it just turns out she's kind of bad.
Well, that's unfortunate. It's always a letdown when you have a new champion come in and like, yeah, they're bad. So unfortunately, that is the case here. Another unfortunate thing for me is that I cannot get ahead of freaking producer Dave on the stream. So unfortunately, I have to live through Minecraft again. But we'll see what happens here. Anyway, our draft, it looks like, is going to be as we get to the game screen here. Miss Fortune, Lulu, Zed, Wukong, and Malphite going off against Broloff, the Olaf, Aurelian Soul, Jin, Braum, and Camille. Can Camille keep up her perfect record today? We shall see.
I mean, she's been a very strong pick overall. I think you're right in saying that. I think she has got 100% win rate thus far. So Camille definitely super strong. And I think Take on that Camille was very impressive. And again, he's into that same matchup versus the Malphite. And again, Dave was right. Like in the laning phase, like Malphite is pretty solid versus Camille. Like he has a lot of ways to counter and shut down her attack speed, shut down her burst potential. But eventually he'll start to get outscaled. He is also much more useful in a team fight situation, especially comboed with a Wukong, a Lulu ultimate, and a Miss Fortune ultimate. Like you can just see that in action happening in your mind. It's going to be mental if they can actually pull that kind of play off. Looks like we're not going to see any crazy lane swaps this game. No lane swaps and shenanigans. What I would say is that the Braum has been picked by Killer Gaming. So Braum being picked up is a pretty big deal. That basically allows them to have the Unbreakable during the Miss Fortune ultimate, and that obviously can turn out to be game changing if they block out most of the damage in these teamfight situations.
I think it's just as a run back here from Sea Serpents because they have the same exact kind of wombo combo situation as they had last time, right? They had the Lulu, they had the, pushing onto the Malphite who's engaging along with the Wukong. Hopefully they don't have any sort of connection issues because otherwise this could go poorly. Or maybe even without connection issues, Killer Gaming can do the same strategy as last time and have Camille kind of warp the map toward her direction and make it so that there isn't any good team fight.
Yeah, I agree. Camille can sort of draw the attention towards her rather than actually have to get involved in a team fight situation. It's not like the team fight from Killer Gaming is bad. They have the Aurelion Soul. Aurelion Soul is a great team fight champion, especially as the game gets later and later. But it's definitely not as strong as the wombo combo that you're seeing coming out from
Sea Serpents.
C7s, yes, so just completely mind blanked. Take does take a good trade here, but he has already used his honey fruit in the laning phase, so one sap is a little bit further ahead in that regard. Has a lot more HP to work with right now. Take has to be a little careful.
And we're switching over our perspective over to Golden Feet, and now on the Misfortune. Last time on the Kai'Sa, so perhaps with the Misfortune in tow, they can do a little bit better in this landing phase, and indeed for the rest of the game. As you can see on the screen here, multiple members trying to potentially invade or at least gain vision. You see Wukong on the opponent's side of the map. Looks like they're just going to go ahead and back off there. They've already gotten the Red Scuttler, so they'll have potential vision for this next Drake, I believe, if it comes up in time. But regardless, things are going kind of as planned so far.
Yeah, a relatively quiet game thus far. Misfortune zoning out the Jhin. You'd expect this. She's got incredible zone potential with the Lulu. Like Jhin Braum is not a strong lane. It's very difficult for Jhin to take advantage of the Braum stun passive because he's got such slow attack speed compared to most other AD carries. And if he's somehow in between his reloads some way, like he's on his third or fourth shot, and obviously he's gonna have to reload before he can continue to proc that Braum. They have not picked this combo for the laning phase, I will tell you that. But it is Sea Serpents that are taking advantage of that. They're trying to freeze the lane, they're trying to zone away the Jhin and Braum as much as possible. They're taking the gold advantage through that respect. And it's a very, very strong start here for the Sea Serpents overall. They're bouncing back much better in this second game versus Killer Gaming.
I have a story for you. TJ and I were streaming together the other day, and he just instant picks Braum because he loves supports. And then Jhin was free that week, and so I picked Jhin because I hadn't played Jhin yet because I'm terrible at ADC. And he's like, "What are you doing? they don't combo well together at all." And so this is kind of a blast of the past for me as we're seeing the same ineffectiveness of this combo together.
I'm really interested to know what runes Take has taken, because it has been rather traditional to see laners in general take the honey fruit rune because you just get the free gold and the extra regeneration. I'm just wondering which rune he's actually ended up going for on the inspiration part of the tree, because it has generally been, I've always gone for the honey fruit rune, so I'm just like, free 60 gold every time the honey fruit spawns, and you get a load of extra regeneration from it as well. We are obviously keeping an eye on Golden Feet at this point in time. They have just picked up a solo kill. Zed, I think, just solo killed the Aurelion Soul, which is super nice. You want to get that Zed rolling because he's going to start to have that ability to one-shot in team fights, and even through the GA meta, if you can pop that GA super quickly, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, we have a little engage onto our bottom lane here near the Drake. Lulu taking quite a bit of damage, and that feels good to see. When you have the ADC protecting the support, oh my god, it warms my heart. We have a potential engage around this Drake. No damage on it quite yet. Looks like both teams are going to go ahead and back off. But I gotta say, that it makes you feel good inside when you see an ADC protecting their support.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very, very difficult to get any meaningful advantage here for Killer Gaming. They have not found that same kind of snowball potential this time round. This time, it's really just Sea Serpents having that dominant laning phase. No, I don't think anybody's taken the dragon as of yet. The Ocean Dragon is the first to spawn right now. You can see Take is starting to push that side lane as far away as possible. He does not yet have the teleport, so we will not be able to join and teleport to the fight, although I don't think they care that much. He's more looking to try and either bait the Malphite away.
Oh, looks like potential engage coming up here. Braum's a little bit in trouble trying to look at the balls on the mini map here. They're pushing in to that turret. Looks like the wild growth was put onto the Wukong. The side of Killer Gaming does have vision, though, as they can see this Drake is potentially being aggressed upon. Just a lot of poking back and forth, trying to bait them into coming into range, but now the Drake is getting extremely low. Is there going to be some sort of contest? Looks like it's going to go to Sea Serpent for free here. And not taking it quite. There you go. So the Ocean Dragon does go to the side of Sea Serpent. So things going well thus far. 1-0 in kills, and we have a Drake already to their name.
Yeah, I think realistically that was the correct decision for Sea Serpents overall. You have to be a little careful though. Cold Feet is forced to flash away from the Olaf.
This is the second time that's happened where a potential gank has come in and one flash and they're scot-free. So yeah, you do burn a flash, but these ganks haven't gone the way that Killer Gaming has envisioned so far.
Nope. What happened though in the side lane though is that obviously Take did not choose to teleport down. He didn't even have a teleport available, so he didn't choose to join the fight, and instead just got 2 plates on that side lane turret, and will probably continue to try and pressure out this Olaf. Or we've got a bit of a fight, coming out in the mid lane.
Yeah, bad timing for the Misfortune to go back to base, or perhaps, fortunate timing here for the side of Killer Gaming as they do invade. They take down 2. The Zed and the Wukong go down in exchange for the Jin. So that's going to even up the kill count here 2-2. And with that presence on the map, they're going to go ahead and rotate somewhere. Looks like going to go towards the Rift Herald as I'll change perspectives. Never mind. My perspective is super late. Just kidding. Just kidding. I tried to see what they're doing on my other perspective, but looks like, yeah, they indeed are going for that Rift Herald. Going to be pushing away Golden Feet here right now. It gets taken. The ult comes out from Misfortune, tries to get some damage in. They're going to be pushing them away. Multiple members extremely low. Malphite doesn't really have the mana to chase, unfortunately, and looks like the side of Killer Gaming is going to get away with that.
Yeah, kind of snuck that one here. Have to be a little careful of losing this turret. Camille's going to have to try and clear the wave out as quickly as possible. They will get the kill. De Brawl.
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking a drink of water there. He does go down, but they're taking so much damage under this turret. No one falls in the end, though. Golden Feet even had that GA if things went extremely badly. As you can see on your mini-map there, we have Jin pushing in that bottom lane, trying to get something in exchange for that 2-4-0 up in the top lane.
Oh, much... Is that just all-in the Jin? Zed's just all-in the Jin, yeah.
He's all-inning and getting the Jin, but he actually falls as well. I was actually surprised he died there. What did he?
I think he must have got caught by a stun under tower. The root must have come through from the Jin, or Aurelian Soul caught him on the back burner. Either way, manages to trade, but right now I'd say the advantage is lying in the favor of Sea Serpents. They're having a much better game. They are going to drop the Rift Herald mid, but I don't think it's going to get the mid lane turret. Not sure. The charge is going to be close. It's going to be close. Oh, no.
Yeah, and 340 health is not something you can just jump on without a minion wave or really kind of... you can potentially take it, but you can't just willy-nilly take it, is what I'm trying to say here. So it's still going to be a point of contention. It's still going to be something that gets in the way of trying to get in the way or go for the jungle side. But looks like lots of damage coming in here onto Misfortune. She does get the wild growth, gets out, gets the flash out, is able to pop her ult, but she is taking some damage. Still gets her GA popped. Looks like the Malphite is going to go down as well. Re-engage comes here from Sea Serpents, but Wukong has to back up. And the shield, the clutch shield. She wants to stay here and fight. Gets the damage and gets the kill. And what in the world we have in the end? I believe a 3-for-3, unless people have already revived.
I think it's a 3-for-3 overall. Yeah, 3-for-3 overall. Really should have been massively in favor of Killer Gaming, but that Lulu shield came in clutch right at the end, and the Zed roam into the team fight allowed him to sort of bring some gold back in the favor of Sea Serpents. Honestly, you're seeing though the team fight control that Aurelian Soul provides. If you can avoid the majority of the CC as the Aurelian Soul, like look at the team fight control he provides with those orbiting stars. Like it's very difficult. If you miss your wombo combo as Sea Serpents, then I think you just get torn apart by the rest of Killer Gaming. You just need to be making sure that your primary target is the Aurelian Soul. If you drop Soul, you're in a much better position in teamfights to win consistently. Now the next dragon has spawned. It looks like it is Killer Gaming the ones to start things off.
Yeah, they are starting it off. It is down to half health, but they're going to turn their aggression over to the Camille, and she gets dropped like a fly, turning their aggression now over to the dragon. It does go over to Killer Gaming in the end. The Olaf is able to steal it out, and the chase is on. Sea Serpents trying to push here on the side of the jungle, but they're in a funnel. Here comes the ult from Jin, trying to scare them away. He does pop the GA on a blurry member. I can't really tell. I believe that's Wukong, but they're going to get pushed away. Okay. But yeah, it's very interesting situation there. They do get a kill, but they lose the Drake and they have to back off in the end.
Yeah, but no one gets the Drake either way. Right? Oh, wait, no, who ended up
No. Killer Gaming got it. Olaf picked up.
Oh, Killer Gaming got the also. Olaf literally basically gave up. Camille gave her life to distract them while Olaf got the Drake. Good play overall, I'd say. And they can't even convert it to the Baron because they weren't healthy enough to do so. So Killer Gaming actually came away in an advantageous position. I've got to give massive props to Aurelian Sol there. Just like over and over again, just able to do huge damage in these team fights without being completely focused down. And you can see like they blew all of their damage in their CC onto the Camille, but Aurelian Sol was left alive and was able to control the pace of the team fight, especially once Aurelian Sol gets the Ryalize and the Leandris combo. It's pretty devastating. Like those orbiting stars will slow you and deal ridiculous damage as well. And that's what I'm looking for the sort of the next team fight situation. Again, it really comes down to executing on that wombo combo for Sea Serpents. That's what they need to make work for them.
Yeah, it looks like we have Sea Serpents jumping on, or excuse me, the Zed is getting jumped on by Killer Gaming. He goes down without a kill to his side. He got one of the members extremely low, but unable to finish off the kill there. Looks like we have an ult coming out from both the Misfortune and the Zed. It seems like both of them are kind of ineffective at the moment. They're still going to continue to fight, though, as Braum does get dropped instantly. Lots of damage coming out here from Misfortune. They're going to go ahead and pop the GA. She's looking onto another member, and he looks like he's falling low as well. The Wukong does go down in the end, and this fight is continuing on. Another GA pop, but Misfortune, the focus is onto her now as she gets her own GA pop. She's probably going to fall here. Zed comes back into the fight. Zed comes back into the fight. He's going to get one more GA as we get this. And then we have the Misfortune taking down a member at the very last moment there. I'm sorry, guys. I can't be very descriptive because I have a bit of a Minecraft situation on my side, but that was pretty ridiculous.
What on earth was I watching? Like, that was just like GA after GA. Misfortune's build is super interesting as well. He's gone GA into Blade of the Ruined King, then into Infinity Edge. So he's like got a huge amount of lifesteal. I don't know if you saw how much lifesteal he was getting from that fight, but it was ridiculous. Like, he was going from like 10% HP to like almost max over and over again.
Lulu's has like
crazy.
Here, Lulu has like 0 HP, but she's sitting there in the back, just kind of, here, have a shield, here, have a shield, here, have a shield. And then Misfortune's like, thank you. Let me just use my life steal here, and then I'll get back into it. It was just kind of the never dying Misfortune there. And yeah, I don't even, that's the only way that fight was even remotely close.
Well, we had a lot of GAs popped in that fight. Wukong's is back up and available. Seems to be like the team which has the number of GAs surviving. Seems to be the team that is winning these fights right now. There's the Aurelian Sol engaged coming through, but won't land. Yeah,
it seems like I just want to tell these teams to like stop cheating death. Okay, no more, no more of that.
Honestly, that GA nerf can't come soon enough. That the item is. My prediction for the GA nerf is the cost. I think they're just going to give it a cost increase. I think it's the best way to nerf that item without making it completely useless. Is just make it cost more. Like it's way too cheap. Like it's 2,400 for GA.
One nerf that I saw in another game was that they made it so that it can only proc twice for the duration of the game. So it procs twice, and you can't use it anymore.
That's brutal. Bloody hell.
Yeah, so yeah, for sure that, but it's interesting because then you have to go ahead and cycle it to another item. That's why you usually have it only late game. So that could potentially prevent people from buying it only early game. But we'll have to see what the developers have in store here as the Drake is being contested once more. Here comes the bullet storm out from the Misfortune. It is taken by the Olaf once again, very on point with those smites here. The Wukong. GA does get popped, and oh my god, immediately goes in with the ultimate, gets multiple knock-ups, as 2 from Killer Gaming fall, and that is a brilliant team fight from Sea Serpents in the end, despite the fact that they were unable to secure the dragon.
Yeah, they might go straight for Baron here as well off the back of that. And again, like you said, like really nice combination. The bullet time was decent, but not that strong. But really the big killer here was the Zed taking out the Aurelian Sol. Once the Aurelian Sol is down, the team fight goes out the window for Killer Gaming. You can see they're all just forced to flash away. There's nothing they can do there. Without that Aurelian Sol alive, they lose a lot of their AoE damage. And I don't think there's anything they're going to be able to do to contest this Baron either.
Yeah, well, oh my goodness. So we were on the small screen for a second there. Looks like Camille's going to go ahead and get her GA popped. See if they can finish off this kill. Just this misfortune doing so much damage. She's going to go ahead and escape with her life. The Olaf has already died. That said, though, the Wukong and the Zed has died as well. So things not looking as great as we thought as we were staring at the replay.
Yeah, it was not a clean cut Baron take there, but they do get the Baron in the end. Golden Feet on this misfortune now 306. He is looking pretty spicy right now, if I have to say so. He's got a lot of damage up, but he's the guy that you got to keep your eyes on in these fights. Thank God we got his perspective, because he's really going to be the one that is going to be driving these team fights forward for Killer Gaming. Sorry for
yeah. You were saying that Sea Serpents need to get on the Aurelian Soul, while Killer Gaming need to get on this misfortune, or she is going to be pumping out damage left and right, and she is basically all of her abilities are just damage, right? So they need to deal with her as quickly as possible.
The difficult thing for Killer Gaming, though, is that they don't really have a team fight that I think works in an aggressive sense. Like, if they can disengage, then they basically want to kite with the Aurelian Soul. It's so difficult for them to actually get in it like a proactive team fight, because if they walk into these serpents, then they're walking straight into the hands of what this team wants. Very risky to split push versus a Baron team, by the way. This is a very risky play to make if you're Camille. Because they take turrets so quickly, you see she's going to have to back off here. Oh, she's not even going to back off. Yeah, I mean, I would be a bit cautious about split pushing into a Baron team. I think, you know, the minion waves push so quickly and you can take turrets so quickly that you're probably never going to win that race. And you can see they end up giving up 3 turrets overall lost to this Baron wave, whereas Camille only traded back 1. But maybe that's maybe that's the best case scenario versus the Baron. Maybe that is literally a best case scenario versus Baron.
I think I do actually like Camille's play there, because if you think about it, she's kind of mitigating the amount of damage that can be done to her team, right? Because if everyone's grouped up and they're kind of just like touching the wave and then, you know, rotating over, and all the waves are extremely close together because they're getting, you know, closer to like literally physically the corner of the map, then that allows one of the teams to just kind of push their advantage and just kind of dive one of the turrets. Maybe they get an inhibitor turret. Whereas by doing that, yeah, she gives up more turrets on her side, but that's expected, and she forces someone back. So I think I like the play in the end.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair. I think she made the correct decision to back off after 1 turret, though. I was expecting her to try and go for like some sort of crazy inhibitor turret take, but obviously, as I said, versus Baron, that's very difficult to do so. Looks like Baron has actually just dropped off though, so Golden Feet no longer has access to that buff, and this is where Camille can start to have a bit more pressure in the map in her own right.
Yeah, you can see on the mini-map, we're still on the Sea Serpent side, but over on the top lane, she's pushing that pretty hard. One of the members has to even ping that they're going there, and it looks like the minions even got to the inhibitor turret, so tiny bit of damage before they decided to back up. Looks like we got a good old bush party here as the Elder Dragon does spawn. They're going to be engaging right away as Brawl is taking extremely low. She's going to get a buff to try to stay alive here as their re-engage is on. Looks like Lulu has already dropped, if I'm seeing this correctly, as they are able to get onto the misfortune as well. Has her GA popped. She's able to just try to jump out of there. They're trying to keep onto her, but Camille, I'm not sure if she can get this kill. She has her own GA popped in the meantime as the the brigade comes back to help misfortune out.
I mean, this is crazy. The amount of lifesteal that Misfortune has got right now is actually just disgusting. I mean, honestly, absolutely insane. Has she just ended up selling her? She sold her GA for a Phantom Dancer at this point in time. We're going to get a replay of that fight. It actually looked like it was going in favor of Killer Gaming to begin with. Obviously, we could only really see Golden Feet's perspective. He got locked up by the Olaf and the Camille, but it looks like the back line was absolutely torn apart by that Wukong and Zed. So they were basically trading or attempting to trade 80 carry for 80 carry. But look at the... What is that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yes, seriously.
That is disgusting.
Camille's like, why won't you die? Why is your health going up? Why is your health going up?
I think Camille needs mortal reminder that she needs mortal reminder or executioner's calling or something, because you need to shut down this. You need to shut down this guy's lifesteal. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, typically you don't think of the ADC as needing grievous wounds applied to them, but in this case, it certainly is the case.
I'm trying this build in solo queue. This is absolutely disgusting. The amount of lifesteal that you get.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you have the GA as well. So, they try to jump on you and yeah, you die maybe once, but then you come right back a roaring. That just shows how good GA is as well, though, because everyone jumped on her and then they had to just sit there with their, their thumbs in their mouths waiting for her to come back. And that allowed for so much to be done on the backside.
Oh, Aurelian Sol just inted really hard.
Oof, 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 oof. Yeah, we're taking a look at Camille's perspective at the moment here. But yeah, as she was pushing into this lane, the Aurelian Sol did an oopsie and ended up falling to multiple members here from the side of Sea Serpents. Looks like there's going to be a potential just kind of fake on this Baron. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I was looking at my other monitor for a moment there. But Camille's going to have to deal with this Malphite at the moment. But there's a huge team fight going down in the center of the map. I can't really tell from these bubbles. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to give you like a delayed response here as we have 4 members from Killer Gaming falling, everyone but the Camille. And this looks really, really bad if you're Killer Gaming right now.
Yeah, I think right at this point in time, you're probably just seeing, okay, we're going to a third game in this series. Killer Gaming just have the superior team fight. I mean, Jin just not functioning the way that he should be. He's never really able to get his ultimate off in a safe position. And the Aurelian Sol getting caught there. Like I said, once the Aurelian Sol is dead in this team fights, or even before these team fights start, that's it. That's game over for the Killer Gaming lineup. Although I say that Aurelian Sol, has he got stasis? Like Aurelian Sol needs to get stasis. If he doesn't have stasis already, he needs it.
Or they killed 2 already. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah,
it's
game over. It's game over. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So what happened on my screen? So my own stream on the left is very clean, but it's like 5 seconds behind. So I kept looking over to see what was actually happening in the game, and then I looked back over. It's like, oh crap, something more stuff is happening. So yeah, I was a bit lost there, unfortunately.
Technologies.
Yeah. Is it possible, Dave, to pause your stream so that I can catch up? Because that would help quite a bit. Because no matter how much I refresh, I can't catch up.
I don't know how to do that through the communication software we're using.
No, I mean on literally the stream itself. You can just pause it, and then it just
Oh, you're talking about watching the
on Trovo itself.
Okay. Well, we have to figure out for the next time. But yeah,
but we're on our first game 3.
Okay, well, we'll have to figure out for the game 3 then.
Well, since day 1, first game 3 since day 1.
Yeah, like what do y'all think about the last 2 matches? What is the winning factor there? It seemed like KG was having a little bit of control early game, and what happened to that resulting in the slide?
I just think that sorry to cut you off. It was just misfortune. I mean, there was a reason why they banned her, and she was just untouched. Literally, she didn't die that game. So I don't know. That's just my 2 cents there.
I think honestly, it's just like the team with the hard CC wins. Like this seems to be the case every single time. Like the team that has the CC combos ends up winning the game. I think the problem with the KG comp that time round is that their entire team fight revolved around Braum protecting Aurelian Sol being able to just control the fights with the huge zone control that he has as that champion.
Yeah.
But they were just able to kill him either before the fight started or in the middle of the fight. And you saw every time once Aurelian Sol died, like Killer Gaming didn't have a team fight. There was nothing left for them in the team fights.
Yeah.
They were just getting torn apart. So yeah, it comes down to just like if you have a champion like Aurelian Sol, he needed stasis either way earlier or he needed to be protected way better because he was just getting bopped every single time.
I feel like every time I watch Aurelian Sol, he always has like a few good plays during the game. He feels like he's doing like so much damage during a particular team fight, and I think that just kind of baits teams into picking him because there's these amazing moments that he has, but overall, I think the consistency isn't there, and he seems like he gets caught off guard, gets picked off, doesn't have a good team fight, and doesn't get enough damage, for instance. So I just don't think that Aurelian Sol is as good as the teams make him out to be. I think he's a bit overrated by these teams.
I mean, Aurelian Sol is a particular hero. Let's put it that way. Like it does require, I do think Aurelian Sol does require a lot more detailed positioning in this case. And you definitely do not want to get soloed by Zad, and that's what happened. The Aurelian Sol's positioning was not the best, and he was the main damage dealer for KG. Because the Jing in team fights, if he's, I think Xcontra was mentioning that he wasn't able to get good position to do this ultimate because he was literally not using his ultimate at all, right? In a lot of cases, and his damage was just, it's not obvious for me to see Jing was making an impact in the team fights.
I feel like you need to, just to take back a little bit of what I said, I feel like if you're going to pick Aurelion Sol, he needs to be part of the overall team comp, right? Like we saw the Double Dragon with the Lulu, right? I think that's pretty good. But if you just kind of willingly pick him because he's decent, I think that's a terrible idea.
True. I mean, team comp does need to synergize. And then obviously we're doing a post-game analysis right here. You're now watching what exactly went down last game. As you saw, like in... and personally, I'm just a really big fan of hard CCs. I think let's also go back to what you guys discussed. We're going to hard CC wins the day. In Wall Rift, the game short-paced, and then having the hard CCs. And by the way, for those viewers who didn't know, the QSS, the Quicksilver Purify effect in this game, does not take away any qual control up above knockup. So basically, if you get knocked up, it doesn't cancel. The QSS doesn't cancel. So basically, the hard qual control in this game is really strong. Like Monkey's ultimate, Malphite's ultimate, those ultimate are those qual controls are the superior, the highest level of qual control in the game, and it cannot be canceled. It seems like the cost of those skills are not that high either. Yeah,
definitely. They can just kind of use them whenever they want. I would definitely agree with that point. And it just, I just think that really teams need to be, focusing on that as well. I want to shout out to Sea Serpents because they had so many disconnection and just lag issues in game 1. Yeah. And then they just said, let's run it back. They just ran back almost the same comp, other than they switched out Kaisa for Misfortune. Almost everything was the same, and they just believed in themselves and they won the game.
Yeah. I mean, you look at what happened in this team fight, for example. I just feel like Jing wasn't that as impactful as someone would like Jing to be. This hero, I always thought Jing is a snowball marksman, in my opinion, because if he doesn't snowball, you just feel like he doesn't do damage to tanks, he doesn't do damage to... It's really hard for Jing to do damage to squishies, so you have to ult. And then, look at the scenario, right? He's trying to ult to do some damage. It did a lot to the Misfortune, but then he's not consistent. It's more of a skill cast-based marksman, and he just get obliterated by the Zad here coming in. Triple kill.
I can't believe that fight turned out as even as it did. That was so ridiculous.
And if you look at Misfortune's ult, right? Like, that's the difference when they're engaged on him. He just, like, flash back and then start ulting and zone everybody away. Look, like, this happened. They engaged on him, and it took the team forever to kill this Misfortune thanks to Lulu's ult. Flash ult, and then, look, just start ulting and zone everybody away.
They didn't even kill her. Yeah. They didn't even kill her. Like, you said it took forever to kill her. Didn't even kill her. She got GA'd. The Lulu ult comes out. She gets extremely low. It gets the ignite on her as well. But she still stays alive because of Lulu's shield. Like, she didn't die this fight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we were talking in game 1. I mean, these were pretty similar comps from game 1 to game 2. And yet, a different team won, obviously, right? So in game 1, we're talking about Killer Gaming having the Camille split push and then using the Jhin to just delay objectives, right? Just apply pressure from afar.
True.
So that the objectives are delayed. But unfortunately, in game number 2 for Killer Gaming, they just got so outplayed in the team fights, or basically they just lost in the team fights that they never were able to get to a position to apply the game 1 strategy.
I mean, overall, good execution from Sea Serpents. Good attempt from KG. Again, we are actually going to a game 3, guys. It's an exciting match. Definitely, I think both teams they're pretty even. It's back and forth, right? Between those two teams. It's always, it comes down to execution. Who's able to execute their comps a lot better. I feel like KG does need to take advantage of Camille's ult a little bit more. Whenever Camille has ultimate, I feel like you need to take advantage of that he can lock people down for a few seconds and just either have him rotate or gank towards Camille's lane to make sure that you open up those advantages. But we don't know whether KG will decide to go with Camille again in game 3. But we are going to the last match of the day, guys. So who between these two teams is your more preferred one? Which team do you like better? Leave a comment in the chat. Do not go far. We're gonna go ahead and take a short 2-minute break. to set up the stream for the next game. Once again, this tournament is sponsored by Trovo.live. Trovo is hosting a variety of tournaments, events for League of Legends Wild Rift with a bunch of prizes for you to claim, including 30,000 Wild Core giveaway throughout the tournament. Without Trovo's generous support, this tournament simply would not be possible. So if you're watching the stream right now, guys, make sure to use the link in the chat to head to Trovo.live for exclusive coverage on Sundays during the after the playoff, and most importantly, 30,000 Wild Core giveaway. And last but not least, we want to give a big shout out to Wild Rift Competitive. Wild Rift Competitive is a central place for all things competitive. They host weekly tournaments and events for the community. So if you're looking for teams, looking for scrims, looking for players, go to Wild Rift Competitive Discord server, their Twitter, with the link, social link in description. And make sure to follow our beautiful casters, our sexy casters, D2 and Xcontrol, with the link in the chat. So with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take a short break. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans and pets, welcome back to the League of Legends Wild Rift Asia Brawl, aka Wild Rift Asia Brawl. The third match, last match of tonight, the winner will be decided between Killer Gaming and Sea Serpent for the group stage. This is week 1, day 3, the last match, and then last small game of the day. Whoever wins will take this point. And without further ado, guys, 2 very interesting games. Game 3, who will win? Let's send it over to our caster desk, brought to you by D2 and Xconro. Let's go.
Thank you very much, Dave. We have our bands in. They were Lisa, Misfortune, Evelyn, and Oriana, and you can see the eventual draft on your screen at the moment. We have the Gragas, Kaisa, Malphite, the Alistair, and Graves, as I look at that interesting skin. And then on the opposing side, we're taking a look at what looks to be Wukong, Olaf, Lulu, Kennen. I'm trying to figure out what Cold and Feet is on. What is Cold and Feet on?
Sea Serpent. Right. On Jing.
Yeah, I was just confused by the skin for a second. My bad. Anyway, carry on.
All right, we actually have a lane swap here. It looks like Sea Serpent have initiated a lane swap. They have put the Jin and Lulu in the side lane, and they do not want to go into the 2v2, it seems like, versus the Kaiser and the Alistair. Although they are now going to back, they're going to push that first wave in and back. I need to understand why teams do this. They're swapping back again. Why do teams do this? Is it to avoid a level 2 all in from like the Alistair or something? This is what I'm trying to figure out. Why make the lane swap, push the first wave in, then just back?
Yeah, it seems like a mystery to me. They could have potentially been scared of the opposing team doing the same thing.
Or yeah, I guess they were predicting a lane swap from the opposing team, maybe. But
that seems strange to me as well. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think would be the case. It just seems odd that if you initiate a lane swap, I guess it's like you have to predict, but I would never do that without vision, right? You can always go and like try and get some information about where the enemy team is positioned in the jungle if you're trying to get some level 1 vision. But my thought process is I guess that they expected Killer Gaming to make a lane swap happen. I suppose they didn't want the maybe they didn't want to see. Oh, I guess it's because the Olaf Malphite matchup's so bad for Malphite. So they were like, oh, we were expecting the Malphite to swap to the other lane because it's such a bad matchup for the Malphite. That must be the reason because the Olaf Malphite matchup is terrible for Malphite.
So they were like, they're starting with the rock and they're expecting the paper, so they went with the scissors. But then it looks like Killer Gaming just went with rock anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just those early levels are so punishing for Olaf because obviously like post 5 even then like the Olaf can just ult through Malphite's ult, and so Malphite will only do the damage, you won't get the knockup, and also like Olaf will just do true damage to Malphite with his reckless swings. So it is a rough matchup if played out like in the normal way. It's a rough matchup for the Malphite.
Yeah, well, it looks like Malphite was getting pretty aggressive over in that lane here. Nearly taking out the Olaf. Actually, ults onto him, but takes too much damage from the tower and has to step away in the end here. Looks like I have ult coming out from the Jin. They're able to take out the Alistair and the Kaisa as well. So very well done here from Sea Serpents in this early part of the game.
Yeah, really, really beautifully played as well. They just dominated that side lane matchup thus far. We've had to see the Gragas now rotate over to catch this wave, but that was a super dominant tower dive very early on, well executed by the Wukong, Lulu, and the Jin here. Something that you can definitely do post level 5. Jin, once Misfortune's off the cards, I consider Jin to be one of the strongest AD carries in the meta. And you can be very lane dominant, especially with the Lulu. You can be super poke heavy as well. Alistair really can't do anything about it. The thing is that Lulu is like a direct counter. Wait a second, I think Kennen got a catch onto the. Yeah, Kennen got a catch. He's just dead.
All right, so it looks like the Graves does fall there. Which perspective are we on now? It looks like we're taking a look at Take once more here. And yeah, unfortunately, I got a little bit baited by Take's perspective. I switched over, and then at that exact moment, it was a bit of a gank on the Dragon side lane. But yeah, again, like I mentioned, taking a look at Take. And he's just kind of going about his merry business. As I mentioned before, he almost took out the Olaf despite the bad matchup that you mentioned earlier. You're going to go ahead and freeze the wave here at the moment. I'm going to personally go ahead and take a look at the other side of the map here as Cold and Feet. and Lulu in tow. We're going to go ahead and continue to push this out. Not a whole lot of vision onto the Drake quite yet, other than the Rift Sculler. Not sure what the side of Killer Gaming sees, but yeah, they don't really have vision there either. So this is kind of a problematic situation potentially for them.
Honestly, the team fight from Sea Serpents is pretty nasty. Like, you've got the Wukong into Kennen, so you've got the plenty of team-wide CC, and then you have the damage of the Jin and the Olaf to follow up. It's a pretty scary-looking team fight composition. So this first dragon, especially if Kennen has his ultimate available for it, it's going to be pretty spicy. But you can see that Sea Serpents are trying to avoid fighting right now because they know that they need to have that Kennen ultimate available, because that's going to be the sort of the deal breaker when it comes to this team fight situation.
Is Taka getting some lag right now? He's just kind of standing there. I mean, he backed now, but for a moment, okay, it looks like he's back into the game. Very, very strange, just sitting there. Maybe he's just talking to his team. In any case, he's going to go ahead and get back into lane. I too am looking at this side of the Sea Serpents and seeing a potentially dangerous team fight, for their opponents, obviously. And I don't really know like what Killer Gaming is supposed to do about it other than just take it.
Well, interestingly enough, Malphite has gone for Liandry's Torment, so he's playing AP Malphite. Now, I think, unfortunately, they're going to be a little bit too late to this dragon fight. Kennen has the ultimate available, so you don't really want to fight that. You're just going to give that one up. And obviously, Take didn't even make the move down, so he's very well aware that this is just not going to be a fight that they're taking right now. But
yeah,
go
ahead.
No, carry on, D2, carry
on. They had the Rift Sculler vision, but yeah, unfortunately for them, Sea Serpent just took that easy peasy. They just walked up and said, "We don't care if you see. We're just going to take it. Doesn't matter." And so they do get the Drake to their name to add to that 3-1 lead. Looks like we have a bit of a skirmish over in that mid lane here. Trying to see what's going on. We have the Kennen getting pretty low. Lulu trying to help out. Wukong very, very deep. He's falling low as well. They're able to get the kill onto the Gragas and the Alistar. So looks like a job well done. They're going to try to pop this GA onto this Kaisa. The Wild Growth goes on to just try to finish things off. Looks like they're going to try to finish her off after this GA as well. She's going to jump onto the Lulu, but not enough. Too little, too late. And that is a GA and a kill. We are 6-1. Sea Serpent's looking good. Oh, never mind. Hold that thought for a moment. Sorry, hold that thought for a moment here. Looks like the rotation comes out from Killer Gaming in the end. Can they get the kill onto this Jin? Can't even pop the GA. That is a feels bad man moment. Oof.
Yeah, I have to really rate the Graves, unfortunately. Like, I think he's just a worse version of Shyvana that does less damage and provides less to the team. So I'm not entirely convinced by the Graves pick coming out from Sea Serpents. That's from Killer Gaming here. And actually, Sea Serpents just you could see how much that disconnect affected them in the first game. Like, they are now absolutely dominant once they're playing on that level playing ground. And it honestly, Killer Gaming look a little lost. They look a little bit split across the map versus the Kennen. They are struggling to have an impact in these team fights. Interestingly enough, actually the more that I've seen, the more Kennen mid I've seen. Like, Kennen mid has been I talked about when Kennen first got released. I kind of said in a video, I was like, I was expecting to see more Kennen mid. But most people say, well, his wave clear is really bad, and I kind of agree with that. But what you're seeing here is that, yes, Kennen mid's still strong. Like, his ability to rotate with his ultimate is really impactful, and his ultimate is so strong. That's why we're seeing teams pick up that Kennen mid more often. So, I mean, you can see Sea Serpents making great use out of that particular pick right now.
Unfortunately, they have a pretty botched gank, though. They go for a 4-man gank over in that bottom lane there, and they actually pop both Wukong's ult and the ult of Lulu. Get nothing out of it. Malphite gets out scot-free. I mean, they picked up the turret, but yeah, Malphite, right? But this is, I'm talking about after Malphite gave it up. This is after Malphite gave it up. They went hard onto him, didn't get anything. So, I mean, they're still far ahead, but could be a bit cleaner, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the play was definitely, okay, Malphite flushed, let's just go and let's just take the turret now. Like, Malphite flash, let's just take the turret. I understand the want to try and go for the kill. It would have got you a little bit extra gold, but those like Lulu's ultimate cooldown is really low, and Wukong's is relatively low as well. So it's not like you burn a huge amount for it. But I agree. Like, I think in that situation, just say, okay, well, Malphite probably still has his ultimate as well. So let's just say, cool, take the turret, rotate, and get somewhere else on the map as quickly as possible.
Yeah, just selective use of ults, right? The ones that have a low cooldown there, they're like, you might as well. It's just trying to scare the Malphite off, right? Make yourself look big, put wild growth on him. In any case, it looks like the Rift Herald, I believe, is coming up soon. Is that the timer that we're looking at? Or am I mistaken? I forgot what lane we're supposed to be.
Again, it feels much later. No, that's the Baron, because we're coming up to 10 minutes. So that's the Baron that'll be spawning relatively soon. Rift Herald, I think, has already been taken, or at least it has disappeared off the map.
Oh yeah, I think they actually still have it. I think they haven't released it. Oh wait, but this is the Drake. Okay, we're just confused, guys. Anyway,
the Baron is coming up relatively soon. It comes up in 10 minutes. So.
Right. And there's a Rift Herald. All the questions have been answered. Baron is on the timer. We have the Infernal Drake started. It does get leashed though. Big ult comes out from the cannon. He's in the back side of the line there, but we have the Jhin trying to get some damage in. He is able to scare the Alistar off to fall on the side of Killer Gaming to the only one here. Make that 3-for-1 as Jhin is chasing down this Alistar. Does get the kill. Gets the GA on the last member of Killer Gaming, and this is going to be an ace. 5-4-1, and Sea Serpents are just absolutely dominant. They're going to take their dragon on the way out.
Yeah, this game's pretty much over, I'm afraid. I don't like to call games super early. I think there is always comeback mechanics available, but I just feel like the right now Sea Serpents are just way too dominant at this stage of the game. It would require a monumental failing on Sea Serpent's part to lose this game from this point onwards. Like Kennen Ultimate was so impactful as well. Like huge Kennen Ultimates kind of stopped the Malphite from kind of getting into a spot for a good ultimate, and you can see the team fight's just not coming together right now. Like again, as I said, I don't think the Graves is a particularly strong pick right at this point in time in the meta, and he hasn't really had the impact that the Wukong has had. They're setting up for Baron now as well. That's going to be the next objective that is on the cards, and you can see they're going to go straight for it. Take does have the teleport, so he could teleport to the fight, but that's if Killer Gaming even want to contest it, which it looks like they don't.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Take's perspective, he has no vision on it at all, and the Baron just gets taken pretty easily. The ult comes out here from Jhin. I'm taking a look at Sea Serpent's perspective. Sorry, guys at home. And yeah, just so much damage coming out. The Malphite falls. Olaf is perfectly fine, not even that low. He can't even feel a thing. They're pushing onto this turret. They have the Baron buff. Turret goes down. Are they going to go ahead and push on this inhibitor turret? Looks like they're going to back off, which is kind of surprising to me. Playing this very, very safe. They are getting pushed in their mid lane, but what's the UX? I feel like they could just push that in.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. Like at this point in time, it's just they could do anything they want. Honestly, like any move that Sea Serpents make is going to be fine because they're just that far ahead in gold right now. Like, so there are things they could do better, but they could literally run it down mid, probably dive 2 towers and still end up winning these team fights.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to do something resembling that. We do see Lulu and Jhin trying to make something happen here. Unfortunately, the wave clear is pretty decent between the members of Killer Gaming here, particularly the Gragas. So decent defense coming up from Killer Gaming. You can see on your mini map there that Olaf is doing a decent job pushing over in the top lane. He's going to get met by Graves here. We have Jhin coming in, but there is all the ults coming out in droves as Wukong jumps on them, and it is supported by the Lulu as well as the Kennen, and 3 members fall. This is the moment that they were waiting for, and now they are making their turn to push on the Nexus here. The Alistar tries to jump in, but he doesn't have the follow-up damage necessary for himself. The Jhin gets kind of low, but it doesn't matter in the end because the Nexus falls, and that is a beautiful comeback from Sea Serpents. Down 0-1, they take it 2-1 in this best of 3.
Wow.
Well, that was dominant.
what a comeback, right? What a comeback. Even though you're behind for 1 game, it doesn't matter. Beautiful team fights they're in. They come back 2-1. And take the first win in their group stage. Every team is going to play 3 matches, and big props to Sea Serpents for taking their first win.
Yeah, I'm gonna pose this question to you, X, and Dave as well. I just feel like KG's drafts fell apart. Right? We were talking about how they needed CC, they needed some sort of cohesive team together.
Yeah.
And every single time they gave up the Wukong Lulu combo. It just felt like Wukong Lulu was ridiculous in all these team fights, and they just gave it up willy-nilly. Not even banned.
I think with a better jungle pick, they might have been okay.
Mm.
Like Gragas is a super strong mid laner. Gragas can actually do fine into Kennen as well. Like you can level 3 all in a Kennen as a Gragas, and it's very difficult for Kennen to actually to deal with that lane matchup. Malphite is great in team fight situations if you can actually rotate him at the right time. And Kai'Sa is probably the best AD carry after Jhin and Misfortune in the meta right now. She's not as good as those two, but she can still do okay in those situations. But Graves is just such a low tier jungle pick. Like he doesn't offer anything. Like he just clears camps, and Shyvana does it better, and Shyvana has better objective control and has a little bit of CC with her ultimate in as well. So yeah, I think with a better jungle pick that might have been more competitive, but you could just see that Graves, once he falls behind, just doesn't do anything.
Hey, Graves got SPP, okay? Graves, you take it back. He got SPP.
Graves is actually
Graves.
one of the, I think, lowest win rate heroes in this tournament and last tournament. This hero, just like X-Conor was saying, he doesn't really offer too much in teamfight. He's more of a farmer. You know, this hero can, if he farms well, he can snowball really well. He can like one-shot people and then just like split push the whole game. That's his strength, but his teamfight contributions is more, I don't know, it's kind of weird, like what this hero offers. So overall, I just think you guys are absolutely right. I think Sea Serpents outdrafted Killer Gamings in these matches. Definitely great execution. The last team fight, that was clean, like the ult that they pulled out, like the wombo combo. So take a look at over here.
Yeah, I was wondering why they didn't push down in the bottom lane, but they're like, we could just kill them and win if we do that.
Look at that.
And,
Look at that.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah, Kennen, the combination of Wukong, Kennen, Lulu was just disgusting. Just circles of death everywhere on the ground.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, Cannon all, Monkey all, Lulu all stacked up. Chen CC back to back to back to back to back. God damn. That was good.
It looks like whack-a-mole. Like they're just popping up and down. Like the opponents. Like what is happening here?
Yeah, and also I wanna point out like one thing regarding KG's team fight. It does feel like their team fight is a little chaotic. Like this team, the Dragon team fight, for example. So look, you have two people jump onto KG's backline, and then the KG's Hake and as well as the Alistair were jumping on this Jing right here. This disconnected. You know, like they have basically 3 people fighting a group over here and 2 other people fighting a group over there. It's not like let's jump on one target at once, you know. And I think that's the reason why they lost their team fight, because they're not focusing their firepower on one person to take that person down.
I do really want to give Lulu a lot of credit though, because she did a really good job of deciding who to use her ult on.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it could be a wombo combo ult, but in this situation it was keep Jhin alive ult, and it was just like they dove Jhin and they're like, and then Wild Growth was used on him. And he's like, they're like, never mind. I guess we just can't kill him now. So it was just like Lulu's perfect use of her ult made it so it was impossible for Killer Gaming to do anything.
Absolutely. I mean, like again, look at the differences. This time we'll compare the differences, right? Lulu's ult, the beautiful placement on the MM, but look. This guy dove, the cannon dove, and Wukong jumped to follow up. He flashed over the wall, ulted 3 people with a wombo combo over there. And then after Lulu ulted this guy, they did not focus on this too. That's not their focus, right? Those two Lulu instantly dropped whoever they're attacking and come back to whoever they're attacking on this side. And in this case, they wanted this marksman. Everybody was dropping, putting their attention on this MM and the Gragas over here. So like obviously you see a difference in team fight. They're able to win this because they focus fire. And then
that's just so funny. That's just so funny. The Alistair and the Malphite jump on the Jhin, and then they look behind him like team.
Where's everybody? You know, like it's a little bit unfortunate over here. But overall, big props once again to the lovely Sea Serpents for taking their first win in the Wild Rift Asia Brawl. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this tournament is brought to you by Trovo.live. Trovo is hosting a variety of tournaments, events for League of Legends Wild Rift, with a bunch of prizes to claim, including 30,000 Wild Core giveaway. starting the playoff stage for this tournament. So without Trovo's support, this tournament simply would not be possible. If you're watching the stream right now, weekly Sunday matches and grand finals will be streamed on for the Wild Rift Asia Brawl will be streamed on Trovo exclusively. So make sure to use the link to follow to watch Trovo right away. Also, big shout out to Wild Rift Competitive. Wild Rift Competitive is all things you need for anything competitive for Wild Rift. Okay, make sure to use the link in description to follow their social medias, follow their Twitter, and then go ahead and follow Wild Rift. Anything competitive news regarding Wild Rift. Big shout out to our lovely casters of the day, Xcondro and D2. Make sure to use the links of their social links in the chat right now to go ahead and follow them on Twitter. Last but not the least, all the matches, including today's matches, will be uploaded and on AssassinDave YouTube channel. If you're watching the stream right now, make sure to go to the YouTube channel and go to playlist section, search Wild Rift Asia Brawl. You will find all the games, including today, yesterday, the day before that, all the 3 days of matches for week 1 of Wild Rift Asia Brawl group stage. With that, guys, you guys want to say anything to the viewers? Xcondro, D2?
I just want to kind of talk about how interesting this tournament has kind of shaped up here, right? We've seen some pretty dominant teams. We've seen some very competitive teams as well. I'm just looking forward to seeing, you know, these dominant teams potentially go against each other in later rounds, right? Etherif was dominant today. Good comeback from Sea Serpents. The other day we saw great matches from Team GG, DR Esports, Sengoku. Today we saw Liab. It's been pretty exciting to watch, and I want to see some of these teams go against each other in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the later stages of this tournament. And thanks, Dave and Wild Rift Competitive and Trovo for organising it.
Yeah, it's incredible, guys. In the next week, all the teams are going to play each other one more time. Again, they have to play every single team. So Bigatron Gaming Infinity, for example, is going to play one step. And like 16 Big Air is going to play Team Reborn. And Team GG will play TR Esports. All those teams, they actually have won this week. So the winners of this week going to go against each other in the next week group stage. It's only going to get more and more interesting and competitive. So make sure to stay tuned. With that, guys, thank you all so much for coming to the tournament today, coming to the group stage today. Mark your calendar next week, starting Friday, Wild Rift group stage, week 2. We'll come back to see you again. Have a wonderful night, have a wonderful evening, have a wonderful day, depending on where you are around the globe. This is us signing off. See you all next week.